All right, today we are heading to Boston to try and distill the secrets of wealth from some of the city's most successful people. And we're going way beyond the typical advice you always hear. We're going to uncover the raw, unfiltered lessons from a tech founder, an NBA superstar, a hedge fund manager, and a beer mogul. And I think their stories might just change how you think about building something truly great.
So what's the real secret? I mean, is it just a brilliant idea? Is it a fancy Harvard education? Or is it something deeper, something they really don't teach you in school? We're going to try to get some answers, and we're getting them straight from 4 people who have reached the absolute top of their game. Okay, just to set the scene here, Boston is home to over 40,000 millionaires and more than 10 billionaires. I mean, this is a city that is just swimming in capital and ambition. It's the perfect place to go hunting for the patterns and the principles that build extraordinary wealth. Our first subject is Will Ahmed. He's the founder of Whoop, a company that was last valued at a staggering $3.6 billion. He started it right out of Harvard and has been on this incredible and incredibly difficult 12-year journey building a health tech empire. Now, for a totally different perspective, we've got Boston Celtics star Jaylen Brown, who earned an unbelievable $50 million in a single year. He actually became a millionaire at just 18, building his wealth not through venture capital, but through world-class talent and by overcoming some immense personal challenges. All right, let's get into our first major theme, because a really fascinating pattern emerges when you listen to these stories. You see, massive success, it rarely starts with a desire for money. It almost always starts with a driving, all-consuming obsession with solving a problem or creating something totally new. Just listen to Will Ahmed's mindset here. He didn't say, I want to start a company, what should I start? No, he was obsessed with a problem. He wanted to understand human health through wearable tech. The company, that was just the vehicle for his obsession, and that's a really crucial distinction. And then you have Jim Koch, the creator of Samuel Adams, who puts it even more bluntly. His ambition wasn't to get rich, it was to start a beer revolution in America by just making a better product. He says chasing the billion-dollar number is a trap. The real reward is in pursuing a meaningful goal. So you have the obsession, great. But the journey from an idea to a billion-dollar valuation, it's anything but a straight line. And that brings us to our second theme, the brutal, chaotic reality of the path, and the one trait you absolutely need to survive it. This is such a powerful lesson from Will Ahmed. He says, yeah, vision, strategy, empathy, they're all important, but courage is the single hardest and most essential trait. Because when things go wrong, and believe me, they will, it's courage that gets tested first. It's about being willing to walk right into the fire and own the problem. I mean, this timeline really shows the reality of that journey. For years, Ahmed was just a broke entrepreneur. His company almost failed multiple times. He actually calls entrepreneurship a lesson in pain and suffering. But what kept him going were these tiny sparks of hope. Can you imagine sitting on your parents' couch, basically defeated, and you see LeBron James, wearing one of the only 100 Whoop straps that even existed in the world at that time? That one moment gave him a second wind. And this struggle is universal. It's not just him. Jaylen Brown talks about battling anxiety and depression. The hedge fund partner we'll hear from later, he started in the projects and a trailer park, a world away from the $40 billion he now helps manage. Even Jim Koch, the beer mogul, was terrified to make his first sales calls. The chaos, it's just part of the process for everyone. Okay, so all of this courage and all this obsession, it leads us to our third section, the counterintuitive rules and the actionable advice that completely defy what you'd learn in a textbook. These are the plays that actually work in the real world. Jim Koch's philosophy here is just a masterclass. He thinks marketing is massively overrated. He says, ask yourself how much stuff you buy because of fancy marketing versus products that are just superior. For him, the focus is dead simple. Make a better product, and then work your butt off to sell it. Get this, he didn't even hire a marketing person for 10 years, but he had 80 salespeople. Why? Because sales brings in immediate cash, and more importantly, it gives you direct, unfiltered feedback from actual customers, something a marketing campaign just can't do. So what about investing your money once you actually make it? Well, the advice from a managing partner of a $40 billion hedge fund is, believe it or not, shockingly simple. He says the smartest people know what they don't know. So don't get cute, don't get complicated.
Put your money in a cheap S&P 500 index fund like one from Vanguard and just let it compound. Let time do the work.
All right, here are a few other rapid-fire rules. Jaylen Brown says the richest people don't just hoard cash, they build social capital, strong networks and relationships. Jim Koch advises that if you ever go public, you have to keep the voting shares so you can control your own destiny. And Will Ahmed? When Amazon launched an exact copy of his product, he had a defiant message written on his circuit boards. Don't bother copying us. We will win.
And this brings us to our final and honestly most profound section. After the struggle, after building the empire, what's it all for? What is the ultimate purpose of accumulating all this wealth? The hedge fund executive we heard from says, money doesn't buy happiness. It's an amplifier. It just makes you more of who you already are. So if you're a good person, you'll probably become a more generous person. If you're not, well, money is just going to magnify those flaws. Your character is the foundation. So here are the ultimate philosophies. That same finance exec says to judge yourself by what you give away, and that the single best financial decision he ever made was marrying an extraordinary person. And Jaylen Brown offers this beautiful metaphor for being authentic. Imitators can copy you, but people will never confuse the moon for the sun. And we're going to end with maybe the most provocative statement of all, this one from Jim Koch. Getting rich is life's biggest booby prize. His point is that people who are unhappy think getting rich is the answer, but the real prize, that's finding meaningful work and being happy along the way. So that leaves us with one final question. We've seen that the path to immense wealth is paved with obsession, courage, and a lot of unconventional thinking. But the ultimate lesson seems to be that the pursuit is actually more valuable than the prize itself. So what do you believe is more important? The ambition to be rich or the obsession to build something truly meaningful?